Hi, let me introduce you to the Virtual Trackpad Mode on the more recent iPhones. This is the iPhone 14 Pro, and as you may know, this one does not support 3D touch anymore, since this feature was ditched after the generation of the iPhone XS, which you can see here. The iPhone 14 Pro is a quite decent phone and it has a lot of cool features. Especially the cameras are great, they are doing a pretty great job. There are still some downsides though, and this especially shows when it comes to text editing with the Virtual Trackpad Mode on the newer devices. I will show you the before and after, starting with the iPhone XS to demonstrate what it looks like now. Here you can see the Notes app on the iPhone XS. I've added some random text to show you how I get into the Virtual Trackpad Mode. I can force touch anywhere on the keyboard to trigger the Virtual Trackpad Mode, and then I can move around my cursor freely. I can move to a word where I feel some characters are off and then do my edits. I can also trigger the Virtual Trackpad Mode and select the whole word by force touching again without releasing my thumb. If I want to expand my selection, I can move my thumb to the right and it goes word by word. I can also shrink my selection by moving back my finger. And it even goes to the previous words if I continue moving it to the left. The same behavior goes for moving up and down my finger. So it goes line by line. If I feel like my selection is off, I can also force touch again to deselect. And then I'm back to my initial state of the Virtual Trackpad Mode. Now I can do some edits and remove some words or paragraphs that I feel that are off. Neat. Now let's get to the iPhone 14 Pro. This is the Notes app on the iPhone 14 Pro. If I want to get into the Virtual Trackpad Mode here, I have to hold the spacebar. Then I can move my cursor again and do some edits somewhere. If I want to start a selection though, I cannot just simply force touch. I have to tap with another finger to start the selection. It doesn't go word by word, but instead, if I move my finger to the right, it goes character by character. I cannot even shrink my selection now by moving my finger to the left. But instead, at some point, you can see the selection expands to the words before my initial selection. The same applies when I go up or down again. It just keeps expanding the selection. Now if I feel like the selection is off and I want to deselect again, I cannot force touch or I cannot even tap with another finger again. Instead, I have to keep the selection and re-enter the Virtual Trackpad Mode. This is what the new system now looks like. I don't get this. Why would you do this? So, to sum up, it has already been a disaster to discontinue 3D touch. We all have to live with that, I know, and it's okayish. But please, all I'm asking for is to at least keep the behavior consistent with the previous one. You had an already perfectly fine system working on the iPhone XS and it showed how it should be done. But this alternative on the non-3D touch devices, this is not doing its job. Apple should inspire their users to use the tech efficiently and promote and provide mechanics that really help the editing. This alternative on the non-3D touch devices, it is not good, it is just broken. Even after all, it can still be fixed though. You can make it at least customizable to get back some parts of the old behavior. For now, I just really wish that this feedback gets heard and that they address this in the near future. Thanks for listening to my mind and peace out.